We're live!
We're live! Yay!
Hello!
Hello. Should we wait until we get some viewers, or should we just keep going?
Let's see. Yeah, I think we should wait a minute. Sorry, I was listening to the actual live stream, which is never a good idea, but yeah, let's wait a couple of minutes.
Oh, we got one viewer.
I'm going to do another tweet.
All right.
Okay.
We got a viewer.
Hello, viewer.
Hello, viewer.
Nope, never mind.
Never mind.
Oh.
Okay. Hello, hello.
Hello. All right. I have now posted to all the things.
Yay, okay.
Damn it. This was not a good. Sorry. Online. Do 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 do. There we go.
Okay, so we are live at Uplift Out Loud. We were waiting for people to show up, but we're just gonna get started because we would rather have people coming into a talking room as opposed to just us staring at each other. Hello, I am Mary Grace Angelo. I am the co-coordinator of Uplift Out Loud.
I am Tori. I'm a part of the Uplift Out Loud squad.
Squad, I like that.
We're squad.
I'm Jennifer Dorsey, and I'm the Communications Director of Uplift.
Well, thank you, one viewer, for for coming to Uplift Out Loud. Today is our today we stand together in hope that we can create safe spaces free from sexual and emotional abuse, and we're here online in the community that we love, standing up for safe spaces. So right off the bat, I just want to start off with a moment of silence. And so during this moment of silence, let us remember those who have lost their lives to sexual violence and also honor those who have lived to tell their experiences. So, yeah. All right. And then also, today's events are very serious. They might be triggering for people. So if at any point you need to talk to somebody, the RAIN has a really wonderful hotline number and chat. You can check it out in our description box. And they have people there 24/7 if you want to chat or talk via the phone. So if at any point during this live stream things are triggering for you, we encourage you to please practice self-care and talk to somebody.
We also want to let everyone know that we do have a team live captioning the event because it's really important to us that this is accessible to all members of our community, including the deaf and hard of hearing. And the link to that live transcription can be found in the description of the live stream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you're tweeting or doing any kind of social, you can tweet with the hashtag #UpliftOutLoud. And if you at any point want to would like any resources to learn more about the topics that we cover today, you can go to uplifttogether.org/resources. Awesome. So we're going to talk a little bit right now about what is digital abuse, because Uplift was founded in reaction to allegations of sexual abuse within our online community. So digital abuse is is a topic that is very close to our organization's heart. And so, of course, there's many different types of abuse, and they're all difficult to experience. And each type of abuse is serious, and no one deserves to experience any form of it. And digital abuse, of course, is using technology like texting and social networking and using online communities to bully, harass, stalk, or intimidate a partner. And if you're in a healthy relationship, all communication is respectful, whether in person or online or by phone, and it's never okay for somebody to do or say anything that makes you feel bad, lowers your self-esteem, or manipulates you. So digital abuse is characterized by some of the following things. If your partner tells you who you can or can't be friends with on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, any other social media, if they send you negative or insulting emails or Facebook messages, tweets, or DMs, or like Tumblr anon messages, And if they are using sites like Facebook, Twitter, Foursquare, Yelp, anything with a geolocation to keep tabs on you, if they make fun of you or put you down in their status updates on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, and if they send you unwanted photographs, or if they demand that you should be sending digital photographs of yourself, if they steal your passwords or if they demand that you give them your passwords, if they're constantly trying to text you and make you feel like you can't be separated from your phone, or if they look through your phone history and check up on like your pictures and texts and outgoing calls, and so nobody ever deserves that. You never deserve to be mistreated online or offline. And so, like we said, if you're experiencing this type of abuse, RAIN has a really wonderful advocate program. And just remember that your partner should respect your relationship boundaries. It's okay to turn off your phone. You don't have to text any photos to anyone. And you don't have to share any passwords and keep all of your privacy settings private. So that's a little bit about digital abuse. And Tori, did you want to talk about avoiding pressure from sexual violence?
Yeah. So this is information from RAIN, which is the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. And it connects to sort of the talk about digital abuse because pressure can manifest in lots of different ways. It can manifest in IRL spaces, and it can also manifest in digital spaces. So, it's important to acknowledge that abusers use coercive tactics like guilt and intimidation, and other ways of like pressuring you just to get you to do what it is that they want you to do. And it's, that can be really, really hard to go through, upsetting, frightening, uncomfortable, and it is never your fault if someone is pressuring you or coercing you in any way. So a few things that RAIN sort of has to say on the subject is that, as much as you can, remind yourself that it's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong, and the responsibility is on the person who's pressuring you or trying to coerce you or manipulating you. Also, as much as you can, you should trust your own gut, and you should not feel obligated to do anything you don't want to do, regardless of the why of why you don't want to do something. It's enough that you're not interested and that you don't want to do it. You have a right over your own body and your agency. RAIN also suggests that you have a code word, that you develop it with those in your support network, so friends, family, and this code word could be anything under the sun, a random word or a phrase that could mean like I'm uncomfortable or I need help. RAIN has examples of like 311 or a phrase you say out loud like I wish we took more vacations, like something really innocuous. But this way you can communicate with your support network that you do need help, and it's a way to do that without alerting whoever it is that's pressuring you. It's also important to remember that it's okay to lie to the person who is pressuring you or coercing you, and it may feel wrong, but you are never obligated ever to stay in a situation that makes you feel uncomfortable, scared, or threatened. So some excuses that you could use are like needing to take care of a friend or family member and so you have to leave, or you're not feeling well, or you have to be somewhere else, you have other plans, or even like saying that you have to go to the bathroom, because that can create an opportunity to get away or to get help or to text, call someone. Whatever you need to say to stay safe or to make yourself feel safe, even briefly, is okay, even if it feels embarrassing at the time. And then the last sort of tip that RAIN has is that you think of an escape route. So like in a hypothetical situation, you had to leave the situation really quickly. How would you do it? What are your means of escape? So like windows, doors, stuff like that. Or like, are there people around you who you could reach out to for help? How could you get their attention? And then if slash when you leave, where would you go? Um, so, according to Rain and us, if you have to find a way out of a situation where someone is pressuring you, or if something happens that you didn't consent to, it is not your fault, and you are not alone. And we at Uplift stand with you.
100%. So Uplift was founded because of improper fan-creator relationships that were exposed from previous years. So we're going to actually show you a video from our Engage series about fan-creator relationships. It's a really wonderful video, and the series is really fantastic. So if you'd like to check out other episodes, you totally can. But I feel like defining what the fan-creator relationship is before this event is something that's very important, so that we know what we're standing for and what we're working towards. So let me
Fingers crossed the
the
video plays.
I know. I'm trying to. Where's the?
This is our first annual event, everybody. So there, technological difficulties may pop up, and we appreciate you guys just rolling with it, sending supportive things in the comments. Let's cheer Mary Grace on as she tries to figure out how to share this really awesome, really fantastic video series that we did. Okay, is it working? You guys let us know if you can see a video. While Mary Grace is doing that, I just want to talk a little bit more about, oh, okay, not seeing anything yet. The Engage by Uplift series, I think we have over 20 videos in the series, and they cover a really wide range of topics that all go back to abuse in digital spaces. There are some really great ones that we did with, I think Kat Black did a video or two, and they are like fantastic, like super, super great. I think we do have some great speakers coming up. I have like one eye in the chat and then one eye in the video. Let's see. Let's see. Just as a quick preview of some of the speakers that we have coming on later, we have Rhiannon McGavin. She's a third of the really amazing poet squad, the Poet Puff Girls. I think they've gone viral a few times. You may have heard of her or them. They were on, I think they were on with like Oprah. They were on something really big. I'm blanking on the name of like the specific show, but they performed that Somewhere in America poem, and it was like fantastic. Ooh, I see a video. I see a video. You ready? Okay, let's try and watch the video. Oh no. Okay. Paige, thanks for the heads up. Can you hear? I hope you can hear me now. We were hoping that the video would work out,
Oh,
but I
um,
don't think Paige is saying that they're not getting a different video, just a video of us with no sound.
oh no.
Oh, okay. So I think what we're gonna do maybe is put a link to the video in the description of the live stream. Um,
That sounds like a plan. I'm very sorry, guys. I thought that you could hear it the whole time.
it's a great video. We just really want you guys to see it.
Yes. Basically, this video talks about the fan creator dynamic and how when you have a sizable following and you are in a position of power, it's very important that you are aware of your interactions with people um, and that you are not taking advantage of people's admiration for your work. And on the same token, it talks about how fans can often be unnecessarily cruel to creators. They can dox their information and leak all sorts of personal information, and also mob people at conventions. But ultimately, um, if you are engaging in sexual activity with a minor, whether you are a creator or a fan, that's completely illegal. And talking about how basically how the fan creator dynamic is delicate and should be tread with caution. And so the link to this video is going to be in the description, you guys, of this live stream. You guys can check it out on your own time. Thanks for bearing with these technical difficulties.
Again, this is our first ever live stream as an organization. So there are going to be technological problems are going to happen.
Yes.
We appreciate all of you guys rolling with it, being flexible. Yeah, so we're going to put the link in the live stream description. You might have to refresh the page to see it once it's been updated. But yeah, it's really great. I think that, sorry, that's my friend Rachel.
Hi.
I think that it's really important that we talk about both sides of the fan creator dynamic personally, because I think that I think that like depending on who you are in the conversation, sometimes it can get skewed. Like I think that certain communities end up talking about one side of the dynamic, when really it's important to keep both sides, I think, relevant and thinking about like who has agency and who has power and sort of the division of responsibility among the involved parties and not pointing fingers and sort of talking about the importance of like balance.
Yes.
So I think what we're going to do now is share some poetry from survivors that have been published online. I'm going to bring that up really fast. Let's see. So these poems that we're going to read first are from Vera House. Let's see, it's loading. And Vera House, which you can visit at verahouse.org, their mission is to end all domestic and sexual violence, to assist families in crisis, to support those affected by domestic and sexual violence, to empower women and children, and to promote a culture of equality and respect in all relationships. So, like, a pretty great mission.
Yeah.
Like, that's a fantastic mission. So these are poems that have been submitted to Vera House, and they've been all anonymously published. So I think Mary Grace and I are going to trade off on reading poems. So this one is called I'm Waiting, and it's by someone with the initials ZT. They say with time it gets better. 33 years and I'm still waiting. I fight, I cry, I scream, I'm waiting. I wake up afraid to open my eyes, afraid to start my day, afraid who or what will trigger it, afraid every minute. I'm waiting. I'm afraid to walk out the door, afraid of who is out there, afraid of what will happen, afraid that I can't escape. I'm waiting. I'm afraid to close my eyes, afraid of what I will see, hear, afraid of what I will dream, afraid of screaming, afraid I won't wake up in time. I'm waiting. I'm afraid to start a new day. I'm waiting.
So that's a really powerful piece. I'm going to read another one by ZT. It's called A Battle. Each day is a battle to forget, a battle to forgive, a battle to fight the nightmares, a battle to fight the invisible ghost, a battle to fight to survive, a battle to be happy, a battle to be normal. The battle never ends. It's a constant war within my head.
I'm going to read another one now. It's called Respect is a Word, and it's by someone named Perry E. Hogan. Respect is an essential word. People need to respect themselves, others, their possessions, and the natural world. Building a healthy respect for yourself makes you feel good about who you are, what you're capable of doing, and enhances your value as a human being. Self-respect creates a set of personal guidelines that help you to make solid decisions, conduct yourself honorably, and present yourself with poise and confidence. Having respect for other people is also essential. It enables you to keep an open mind, to alternate ideas and opinions. It reminds you to interact with others as you want them to interact with you. It opens the door to acceptance and camaraderie, and it fosters reciprocal respect. By respecting one's possessions, people learn to appreciate their belongings. Clothing and homes and vehicles last longer and offer years of comfort and security when they are properly taken care of. Special acquisitions provide decades of enjoyment when cared for in a respectful way, adding to their value and reverence for future generations. And finally, practicing respect for the natural world is essential for the continuance of life on Earth. Natural resources must be used conscientiously. The purity of the air, the land, and the waters must be sustained. Living creatures should be allowed to live free or cared for in sanctuaries or other appropriate settings. The bounty of the land should be treasured and shared. Respect is a universally beneficial word to practice, to hold on to, and to give away. Respect is a word meant to enrich the quality of life.
I'm going to read one called These Are My Pieces by Heather Cutler Young. These are my pieces. These are my pieces, but not my whole. I am more than this flesh and blood. My skin does not portray who or what lies beneath. My smile does not really show how I feel, and my eyes do not allow you to see my depth. I am no longer an object of someone else's will, but a prisoner to my own body. My body does not feel like it belongs to me. For so long it was not given a say and was forcibly maneuvered by another. Even my mind seems to be dictated by my own body's sensations. A simple touch of my arm can trigger a memory. My hand hesitates to make contact with even ones I love. All of these pieces, while built together, feel disjointed. My lips long for a compassionate kiss, but my hand will freely push it away. My arms cry out to be wrapped in another's, but my body quickly tightens, responding to a perceived attack. My body, while flaunted, is self-conscious of how it will be judged. It is a vessel of unknown. Each touch is a switch that triggers a new or old memory, a personal home theater of years past, many showing reruns that had long been forgotten or simply waiting for the right time. My home movies are nightmares that give understanding to my body's reactions. Unlike nightmares, I cannot wake up and say it was just a dream. I've tried to rationalize with both my mind and body, but it yields to the past. They are a great puzzle that I am slowly piecing together. The picture of who I am becomes clearer with each piece, and like most children's toys, the result is often not as spectacular as you had hoped. Can I see who I am becoming without finishing the puzzle? The pieces have slowly come together to create a gruesome picture of who I was. The pieces cannot be reconfigured to change the ultimate image. My picture of my past will always be the same. The only difference now lies in how I choose to view it in the future.
I think we have time for maybe one or two more.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to read a poem by Leslie Root called The Kindness of Strangers. Bloodied and broken she rises, hands clenched, her face pointed up toward the sky. Tears sting her eyes, but she wills them away, resolving once more he will not see her cry. She looks in the eyes of her children, knowing her pain has become part of them. With soft words to offer them comfort, she gives of herself as she's dying within. Swiftly she puts things in order, washes the blood and gets on with her day. At least this time not much has been broken, a small piece of her soul is all she throws away. But each time is worse than the last time, and it's getting much harder to mask how she feels. Some makeup will fix the outside, but inside it seems like the wound never heals. I promise you that she is frightened. I swear to you she never asked for this pain. Sometimes when you get dragged down too far, it just gets so hard to get back up again. Let us show her the kindness of strangers, as strangers so often turn out to be friends. Then, as friends, we can guide her to freedom and rejoice in the person she becomes when the pain finally ends.
All right, so the last one I'll read is called Taking My Power Back. I am holding my head high, and I am taking my power back. He stripped me of my dignity. He denied me of my first kiss. He stole my trust in others. He took away my voice. But I am holding my head high, and I am taking my power back. I said no, but he demanded yes. He made me a statistic. He turned me into a victim. He left me to rot like a piece of trash, but I am holding my head high, and I am taking my power back. The police told me I was wrong. They said I provoked him. They implied that I wanted it. They said that I lied. But I am holding my head high, and I am taking my power back. I let him keep me in his grasp for years. I used to cower and hide. I jumped at my own shadow. I double-checked the locks. But I am holding my head high, and I am taking my power back. I learned to hate the world. I learned to like being alone. I put up a wall around me. I became a soldier of one. But I am holding my head high, and I am taking my power back. I am a woman, proud and strong. I refuse to remain a victim. I will not be silent anymore, for I am holding my head high, and I am taking my power back. I am becoming a butterfly, emerging from a cocoon. I am ready to spread my wings. I have found my voice again, for I am holding my head high, and I am taking my power back. So those are just some poems that you can find at veerhouse.org. They have a lot of wonderful resources that you can check out as well, in addition to the survivors' poetry. So I would definitely encourage you guys to visit their website.
So I think now we're going to just sort of share some statistics about the unfortunate widespread epidemic of abuse and assault. And before we move forward, we want to remind everyone again that we have linked to an online chat with Rain, and that if you need to step away from any reason, we really encourage you to do that. Take care of yourselves. This stuff is heavy, and your mental well-being needs to come first.
Yes.
We also have a number of resources available at uplifttogether.org/resources. So feel free to reach out through any of those venues, whatever your comfort level, if you need to. So there are a lot of statistics about the horrible, widespread nature of assault. So, for example, RAINN has a lot of statistics, and they cite a lot of their sources, all of their sources, like a good nonprofit organization. So, according to them, 1 out of every 6 American women has been the victim of an attempted or completed rape in her lifetime. 17.7 million American women have been victims of attempted or completed rape. 17.6% of women have been victims of attempted or completed rape, and that percentage is higher for certain populations, according to race, for example. So Native American women, 34.1% of Native American women have been victims of attempted or completed rape. Mixed race women, 24.4%, 18.8% of Black women. And so it's important to acknowledge that sexual assault can be a racialized thing, and acknowledging that reality.
Yes. And it's not just women who are victims of rape. About 3% of American men, or 1 in 33, have experienced an attempted or completed rape in their lifetime. And from 1995 to 2010, 9% of rape and sexual assault victims were male, and 2.78 million men in the United States have been victims of sexual assault or rape.
Yeah. And also, we don't want to reinforce the binary. There are a lot of non-binary folks, gender non-conforming people, who have also experienced high rates of sexual assault. The queer community in general faces sort of very specific, unique, and unfortunate rates of assault. So, for example, this is from the Human Rights Campaign. 44% of lesbians and 61% of bisexual women experience rape, physical violence, or stalking by an intimate partner. 26% of gay men and 37% of bisexual men experience the same. 46% of bisexual women have been raped. 22% have been raped by an intimate partner. Among transgender racial minorities, 24% of transgender Native Americans, 18% of multiracial trans people, 17% of trans Asian people, 15% of Black trans folks experienced sexual assault in grades kindergarten through 12. And this is much higher rates than students of other races. And trans women, it's really important to acknowledge that trans women generally experience sexual assault at a very high rate.
Yeah. So now I'm going to share with you a story from a member of the community who is a non-binary individual. And so their story is, it's quite long, and it might be triggering for some people. So just letting you guys know that if at any moment you need to step out, take care of yourselves. So this is from Beck Brucker, and their story is called "I Talk About It All the Time, but Nobody Speaks the Language." October 2012, nighttime. There's a cold bite to the air when I step out of the building and head down the stairs. My car is parked across the street, and I rush over to it. Hurry, 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 unlock the doors. Sketchy part of town, close to midnight. Breath coming out and puffs of fog. Turn the key, engine go, warm heat. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Music. I need something to take the screaming noise out of my head. I'm shaking violently, but I can't really figure out if it's from the cold or if it's because I'm in shock from what just happened. Even in the car, my breath is still visible. I grip the steering wheel and will for the car to defrost faster, thoughts gathering in my head. A terrified laugh escapes past my lips. I think I was just molested? October 2015. The thing that I always think is that I can never talk about it. What I've come to realize is that I actually talk about it all the time, but it is not in words. This is a realization that I came to the other night when I found a photo of myself that was taken just a few days after it happened. The picture is of me sitting at my desk at work, and I'm wearing a thick sweater. I have my eyes closed and my mouth covered with one hand as I'm laughing. There is shiny teal nail polish on my fingers. Here's the translated version of the photo, though. The sweater. I had been shaking for 3 days straight, almost literally the entire 3 days, and even though I knew it was nerves, I would still bundle up to keep warm. The laugh. I had to force myself to smile and laugh for the picture by thinking of something funny because I could not get a genuine expression on my face. The nail polish. Painted the day after it happened because I woke up trembling and listening to an argument between my parents downstairs. I did it to distract myself. The color was my silent plea to the world, my way of saying, something happened to me and I need to tell somebody. Teal is the color you'll find on ribbons and other awareness things for sexual assault. Teal itself is becoming my favorite color, I guess. It is a blend of blue and green, very soothing, and it's one color that is creeping its way into every aspect of my life. I have other shades of teal in my nail polish collection. Teal is present on many of my articles of clothing now. I found bedsheets in the perfect shade and bought them on clearance. Headphones, jewelry, socks. It is a color that comes up a lot in my artwork, varying in shades from cyan to emerald. What I ask myself every day is this: do I surround myself with this color because I like it, or because I'm trying to ask for someone to listen to me? Nobody questions where my interest in teal has come from. There were hints of it coming through when I was in high school and dealing with sexual harassment, sure, but over the last couple years, it's been a takeover. When it comes time to when you sleep surrounded by the colors you've symbolically taken on to represent your assault, then maybe it's a sign that you're trying to say something to the world. The sheets are soft and warm, there's that too, but they could have been any color, and I chose teal. Just recently, my mom purchased an adult coloring book. I found a mandala pattern inside and started to color it with shades of teal, and then shades of red and orange and yellow. I wanted fire in there to represent pain intermingled with the cause. Nobody sees the pain in between the lines. All they will see is bursts of color. The people who need to know it happened know about it. My partner knows, and after telling them the whole story, they validated that the friend had abused me in many different ways. It's still hard to imagine that they were abusive because I can still remember all the creative times. There were fun moments. There were also many moments had at my expense and humiliation. I told the whole story to a different friend a while back, trying to claim it as my own, and they helped me view things in a new way and discover why things I didn't immediately process as wrong still felt wrong. I thought the validation from other people would be the way I could finally claim this story as mine, but it's impossible. It feels like my brain can't process that it actually happened to me. So, I had a friend, right? We did lots of cool things together because we had many shared interests, and their family is pretty nice, but they were also an asshole to me sometimes. And they were inappropriate sometimes, and they were abusive sometimes. But I don't think they really meant to be abusive, and if they were reading this right now, I don't know how they would react to being called abusive, and that's what scares me. I feel like there should have been some intent to harm me there for it to count, because they didn't do it to other people, and it seems like if they had no idea that it would be harmful, then they would have done it to others. They couldn't have molested me because it was supposed to be a joke, right? They know what actual sexual abuse is because they've researched it. They know what it is, so they would have to know that what they did to me is assault and not do it. But they did do it. Therefore, somehow, it doesn't count? My brain cannot hold this information. I try and try again, telling myself the story over and over, thinking about it every single day, but I just can't hold on to it. One night in October, something happened to me, and sure, it sucked, but what if it didn't happen to me? I'm aware that it happened. I remember it. There were people present in the room when it happened who made commentary on how I looked and laughed at how defensive and scared I seemed. There's a live journal entry hidden on my now unused blog that details everything. There's artwork on my bedroom wall that has been hanging there since the night it happened, that I drew because it happened and could not use the words to say that it did. But it couldn't have happened. It could not have happened to me. It does not fit into the web of my life. Denial eventually gives over to shame, guilt. I guess maybe when I remember that, yes, self, this is a thing that happened, I decide immediately that I can't talk about it because, duh, it shouldn't have happened, and it had to have been in my power to stop it, but I didn't, so there we go. I remember in this thing that totally did happen, there was a moment when I thought to myself that I had bought a pocket knife to defend myself, and that it was in my pocket at that very moment while they were trying to grab my wrists in one hand, using their other hand to keep tickling me and touching me all over, and that this would be a moment to use if they were not a friend. But they were my friend. I bought a pocket knife to defend myself, and when I needed defending, I didn't use it. I couldn't even hit then. What a fucking joke. Part of what happened was that they were trying to tickle me. Something that makes me feel awful now is remembering survivor stories where survivors speak of the abuser using tickling as the guise for carrying out the abuse. How their abuse started that night was the outright sexual battery part, and how it carried on was with all this touching. They kept grabbing for my torso and legs, poking me and prodding at me and waggling their fingers and touching and scooting me away from them. And with me scooting away from them, they're laughing, me laughing, 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 and saying no, and saying stop, stop, and no, and scooting farther away from them and falling over them on top of me and still touching me. And is it still sexual assault if it started off that way and was touching on the legs and other places? I laughed my way through it because it tickled, but in my head I clearly remember thinking, why aren't they stopping? I couldn't ask that. The words could not come out. Instead, I just laughed. We scooted all the way around the couch, and at one point they were using their strength against mine, grabbing my arms out of the way so they had better access to my body. And one of our mutual friends said, "Wow, you look so defensive right now," because I was curling up into a ball, see, trying to protect myself from them. Legally, I know that this is considered assault. Legally, there were things that they did that are considered sexual assault. I know these things. Emotionally, most of the time when I think about this, I feel numb. Mentally, I feel like I'm pushing against a very large boulder in my head, and I'm always fighting the truth. Because legally, I know what to call it, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I am not ready to give in to this truth yet. My academic brain telling me what happened to you is sexual assault and these are the places you can go for help is drowned out by the emotional brain screaming one long constant wail. Being sexually assaulted does not fit into the picture of our friendship, and it does not fit into the portrait I draw of myself in my head, and yet it is there in the background. And then also I say that maybe it didn't happen because it wasn't all private touching all the time. Sure, they were touching me all over and I didn't want them to, and they were actively trying to thwart my feeble, pathetic attempts to get them to stop. But since the touching wasn't isolated to just to private areas, then obviously it doesn't matter. But this is the part I feel violated about the most. I guess this is where the shame comes from. They did grab me in places that it really should not have been grabbed, completely off limits except to my partner and completely unwanted. But that detail doesn't count in the larger picture of my story. That's more of a footnote. Therefore, obviously, none of this ever happened. But it did. I started to notice my own avoidance. When I go to work now at my different job, I wonder if I will see them by chance. Seeing them face to face again would destroy the carefully constructed ways I've buried the experience, and it will fall apart and spill everywhere. I can't avoid work, but I can avoid other places. It started off avoiding our mutual friends. Yes, they saw what happened. I guess that's bad. They should be avoided at all costs because when they're there, then the abuser is there, and I can't have that. When I contemplated going back to college, I realized that every inch of that campus is touched by memories of them. I can't go there. I can't do this. They were here, there, everywhere. It was when I started to wonder if I could transfer my credits to the other community college just so I could have a fresh start when I realized I was having a problem. My archives amongst social media was filled with memories and moments that I now had to avoid. Even my internet life was tainted. My Facebook history is tainted. The college is tainted. My own spaces online, spaces in my room where artwork still hangs, all tainted. What if I'm tainted? That's a dangerous trap to fall into. The avoidance has begun and the self-blame crawls into my head to take the wheels. If those places are tainted, then what if I'm tainted? And then what does that mean? And this is why it should not, could not have happened. I cannot be tainted from this. My favorite places cannot be ruined forever, and I do not want to be bound to this truth, and yet it is mine. I sleep in the teal sheets every night, and I wake up every day facing my artwork from pain, and I walk with this ghost each step of my life, and I hold it at arm's length. They touched me, and they touched my life, and I wish very dearly to wrench every last bit of them from my memory and from my places and things, but it's not going to happen. So I talk about it all the time in my quiet language. I sleep in the story sheets. I block the world out with my story. Headphones. Hold it at the edge of my hands. fingernails, and talk endlessly about it. Cyan, emerald, teal, endless fiction and character exploration. I do not accept it, but it is everywhere. I've been waiting for somebody to listen, to notice the same color happening over and over in my life. Sheets, headphones, nails, art, drowning in blue-green from head to toe as my actual silence on the matter eats me alive. See me, hear me, constantly wailing, the story bursting out from my brain until the dissociation pushes it back, and find the code to understand. I could not speak the words sexual assault, molestation, and wash my life over in color instead. This is my language. This is how I talk about it. I just need somebody to listen. And that's it.
Wow, that's
So,
a tough one.
yeah, so that was really tough. That was really tough for to even read. And so this story really highlights the fact that for many people, they know their abuser. There is this perception of sexual assault as being committed by some stranger in a dark alley, and while that does happen, most people know their abuser, and which is why the large majority of rapes and sexual assault go unreported, because people think this person is such an asset in my life. I can't fathom why they would do this to me. They have to be a good person. But the fact of the matter is that it's important to tell people, even if it's somebody that you know, and even if people might think that they are the best person in the world, because you don't know what that other person has done. You don't know if what you say might cause a ripple effect and might cause other people who have been afraid to come out of the woodwork to stand up and share their story as well.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I think when we say that, it's also really important to acknowledge um, the ways in which that is hard,
It's very
especially if um, you and the other person have friends in common. Um, like that can be a very difficult conversation to have, to ask a friend to say, listen, this thing happened to me, and it's really important to me that you stand with me on this. Um, like disclosing is hard in general, and when you have mutual friends in common with an abusive person, I think it can be even harder. And we want to recognize that that's difficult work.
It is.
I think necessary for a lot of people, but definitely very hard.
So the story was really, really tough. So I think that this would be a good time to practice some group self-care. So I'm just going to take a deep breath. You guys can join with me. Wow. And I'm also going to drink some water because hydration is important to self-care.
And if you need to take some steps away from your computer, maybe even like go outside if the weather's nice where you are. We'll still be here for a few more hours, so feel free to sort of leave if you need to and come back. You can go get a snack if you want.
Yes.
Like healthy foods or not healthy foods, whatever you're in the mood for.
Yes. And so here's just some tips for some self-care, a little self-care cheat sheet. Get some rest, take care of yourself, take naps, get good night's sleep. Fuel your body with snacks or comfort food, water. Move your body a little bit. It's really helpful if you're like feeling stressed, not even just exercise, just dance it out. Jump on a trampoline, go for a walk. You don't have to go to a gym. Just like keeping your body active will help a lot for self-care. And then being still, taking just 10 minutes to breathe, get quiet, maybe listen to some calming music. And then, when you're centered, talking to somebody who you know and trust about like things that are going wrong in your, you know, um, any doubts that you might have, just the things that are causing you stress and anxiety. It's really important to have, like Tori said, a good support network. And then just enjoy yourself. Go see a movie, take a painting class. Go outside, go camping, whatever you love. Just go out and do it. Just don't be afraid to take the time for yourself because you only have one body. You're not expendable. So you need to take care of it.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at this comment from Sally. We are in total support of you sleeping at 4 a.m.
Yes.
Like, definitely go do that. Important self-care work of
Yes.
sleeping. Sleeping is like one of my favorite self-care
Yes.
methods.
It's so important because when you're sleeping, your body is like healing itself,
Yeah.
and it's like re-energizing.
Mm-hmm.
There's this really awesome metaphor that I was taught where, say you have a backpack, and in your backpack you have 8 bricks, and at the end of the night you get to, for however many hours of sleep you get to take those 8 bricks out, and then you put them back again in the next morning. But if you don't get 8 hours of sleep or 7 hours, however much your body needs, then, say you only get 5 hours of sleep, then you can only take out 5 bricks, and you still have 2 bricks left over. And then the next morning, 7 more bricks come into your backpack, and then soon you're just laden down with this backpack full of bricks that your body just cannot handle, and it's gonna shut down until it can like get rid of all those bricks.
I've never heard that metaphor. I love it. I'm no camper.
So when you have too many bricks in your backpack, that's when you gotta take a nap.
Yeah. And I think the great thing about like sleep, naps, is that like you just get to turn your brain off for a little bit. Like just because I think that like we can get so busy, and especially when we're dealing with trauma, all the normal adult like just living stuff can get really hard. So just like being able to just be like, no, okay, I'm gonna take time for myself. I'm gonna let my brain and my body rest.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is so important.
Super important. Whew. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna do a little bit of a vigil. So if you have a candle nearby, then feel free to grab it. If you don't, you can use your iPhone. You can just, be there in solidarity. But if you have a candle go ahead and light it.
I'm gonna run out and get matches, which I'm not supposed to have in a dorm room, but we do
Oh,
anyway.
no.
I'll be right back.
All right. Well, I'll wait for Tori to come back. So this candle that I have is actually, it's Winter at Hogwarts scent, and it's also self-care. In the vein of self-care, candles are a very good way to like infuse the room with calming vibes. Ooh, I like that real match sound. All right. So if you have a candle, please join in lighting your flame, and if you have another light source, shine it. As we reflect on this light, let us remember those who have lost their lives to sexual violence with a moment of silence. And let us also honor those who have lived to tell their experiences, and to their families, friends, and coworkers who have also lost part of their lives as they continue to fight and recover and lead full, productive lives. Let our candles also be a sign of hope that we can move forward to create a violence-free community, both online and off. In 2014, over 70 young women in the YouTube community came forward with accusations of sexual and emotional abuse against many creators. The accused YouTubers were people who had been deeply trusted, many with large audiences, and the communities that surrounded these YouTubers were reeling in the wake of these accusations. There was a clear need for resources, support, and education specifically tailored to communities fostered through the internet. Uplift was designed to provide that service, bringing together members of the community with the common goal of creating a safe space for survivors, resources for everyone, and a way to decrease instances of online abuse. We believe that the internet can be an incredible tool for good. We believe that everyone has the right to feel free from sexual harassment. We believe that everyone should have the freedom to use the internet safely. Today, we stand together and hope that we can create safe spaces free from sexual and emotional abuse. And before we extinguish our candles, remember that you carry light inside yourself. Stories are light, and light is precious in a world so dark. So begin at the beginning, tell a story, and make some light. Okay. So that was just a quick, well, a little vigil to remind us why we come together today, and kind of what we still need to overcome to come together as a successful, like, safe community.
So I think we're going to share some more statistics about sexual violence, and this is important because, like, as much as Uplift was very much founded in response to something happening within our community, but it's really important to acknowledge that our communities are part of larger societies, and sexual violence is not an isolated incident, right? It's connected to other existing structures of gender, patriarchy, race, all of those things. So, you know, I think it's important to stress that no matter how alone enduring something like that can feel, you never are. And it's the unfortunate truth, unfortunate reality that assault is widespread, and definitely a problem, and one that, you know, we at Uplift and a lot of other organizations are working to address. But, you know, that's, in part, I think that's the value in sharing statistics. Not to be reductive, not to, you know, reduce anyone to a number, but sort of a way to contextualize individual stories and experiences and say, no matter how alone you feel, you aren't alone. Other people have gone through the same things that you have, and the message of this event is that You're not alone, that we are here for you, that we support you and we believe you. And a lot of that goes back to statistics as well, because it's the kind of quantifiable evidence, right, that certain people will trust above individual stories. So for example, this is from RAIN.org. Again, they cite all their sources. All of these statistics can be found through them. So, for example, 15% of sexual assault and rape victims are under the age of 12. 29% of them are between the ages of 12 and 17. 44% are under the age 18, and 80% are under the age of 30. Ages 12 to 34 are the highest risk years. Girls ages 16 to 19 are 4 times more likely than the general population to be victims of rape, attempted rape, or sexual assault. And, you know, we can speculate about why those things are. I think that a case can be made that that last statistic about girls ages 16 to 19 would go back to larger societal structures about patriarchy and misogyny, as well as the sexualization of young girls from a very early age.
So those are some really great statistics. Let's read some more poetry. We're going to read some poems from Life Center, which is a support center based in the United Kingdom. Let's see. So I'm going to read a poem called Listen to Me. Listen to me, please. I need to talk to you. Give me only a few minutes. Accept what I experience, what I feel, without reserve, without judgment. Listen to me, please. I need to talk. Do not bombard me with questions, advice, and opinions. Do not feel obliged to settle my difficulties. Could it be that you lack confidence in my competence? Listen to me, please. I need to talk. Do not try to entertain or amuse me. It would make me think you fail to understand the importance of what I'm going through. Listen to me, please. I need to talk. Do not feel it your duty to approve if I need to tell my story. It is simply to be set free. Listen to me, please. I need to talk. Do not interpret and try not to analyze. I would feel misunderstood and manipulated and could no longer tell you anything. Listen to me, please. I need to talk. Do not interrupt me to question me. Do not attempt to force me to reveal what is hidden. I know how far I can and will go. Listen to me, please. I need to talk. Respect the silences which help me to make progress. Be very careful not to break them. It is very often through them that things are clarified. So now that you let me have my say, I beg you, now you may speak, attentive and at your disposal. I, in my turn, will listen to you.
I'm going to share a poem also from Life Center UK, and you can visit their website at Life Center, spelled the British way, which is CENTRE, .uk.com. And this poem is called But I Will Survive. I live in fear, your voice I still hear. In the dark of the night, I lose my fight. I can't let this go, can't rise from this low. My days grow black, I can't turn back. My day comes to close with the fatal dose. It won't let me go, please let me go. This pain is too much, my head swirls in the rush. I must stay and fight, my chest becomes tight. You raise your hand, it's time to make a stand. I fall like a child against you. I'm weak and mild, I scream for the end. My mind will never mend, my soul broken, my innocence stolen. My time will come, yours will be done, looking eye to eye, now who's longing to die? You did wrong for far too long. Now I live on, now I am strong, with an army behind me, they all agree. My day has come, yours is done. I will forever remember, but I will survive.
All right. I'll read. I think that we might have time for one more each. And this one that I am going to read is called Walk Towards Love. I have to walk away. Now is the time. I walk towards love, big love, free fall. Feel it. It's like flying. This love all around that connects me to the sky. My mind was stolen back then, and I was given a being that was nothing to do with me. She was called victim. I have toiled for a long time to be free from her. I could not see how brainwashed she was. But layer by layer, I have been shown that she was hiding all this time. She is out in the open now. She is breathing. She sees it all. It will not be any different, no matter how hard she tries to change it. She really was that alone. She has to feel it. There was no one there to protect her. They looked the other way. They knew. She was forever labeled victim to keep them safe from their truth. I am crying the tears of that child. There is no happy ending with Mom and Dad. There never will be. I was alone. Yes, I have myself finally. I am here for me with the greatest love. It is pure and sweet and simple and quiet and gentle. I walk away from what was given to me. I walk away from my cage. I committed to myself to do whatever it took to do this years ago. The child I was deserved nothing less. Make the commitment to yourself, walk to the love inside of you, and know it is your right. And then I'll do one more called Metamorphosis. I have finally regained my courage, and it's the start of a brand new day. Once again, I have found the strength to throw the awful past away. I know now that I am ready to step out into the sun, to release me from my memories, and my life has finally begun. I have risen from the ashes, left behind the pain of my past. Just like the phoenix, I am reborn. I am free of restraints at last. My fear has held me hostage, kept me locked up in chains. My life was shattered and broken, reliving the constant torture and pains. But I have found my silver lining, all my burdens have broken free. I found a way to look deep within and found that I am proud of me. You see, I have never had it easy, as my childhood was full of hate. So angry my innocence was stolen, my mind was in a terrible state. But somehow I still flourished, and I gathered the strength to carry on. I found a way to keep focused until my childhood years were gone. My adult life was no better. Life had begun that cycle you see. The abuse and violence thrived on, as it had infected our family tree. And just like the generations before, the cycle had just repeated its round. But once again I fought back. I placed my feet firm on the ground. I broke the chains of violence, stepped up to live my life. No longer would I stand it, and I would never be his wife. But our family tree was still infected. Its branches were full of hate. And silently in my daughter it grew. Our destiny was to live this fate. Abuse, too, touched my daughter. It somehow crept into our life. The evil had infected yet another generation to inflict us with more pain and strife. Fractured was yet another life, childhood innocence stolen again. Yet another child's life ruined, my innocent daughter lived the stain. The darkness tore apart my family, and it ripped in half my heart. It rocked the very core of me, our precious life was torn apart. The haunted eyes of my daughter, they bore through me every day. Her pain etched into her shadows just broke me in every way. Our burning fire extinguished, engulfed in misery and pain, no life that felt worth living imprisoned in darkness again. But once again, I looked deep within to find my solace and sanctuary, and once again I found the courage to spread my wings and fly free. I took my daughter's hand, helped shed away her fears. I gave her all my strength and wiped away her tears. I took her on my journey, showed her the misery of my life. I talked her through the cycles, explained we must break free of strife. So I took her through the ages, told her just how it was for me. I reminded her she would never be alone, and showed her how I became free. You see, no matter how hard the road is, don't you fret, simply find another way. No matter how dark your days are, always remember there is another day. I compared her life to a caterpillar who was preparing itself to die, cocooned in total darkness and not understanding why. Locked away in a chrysalis, frozen forever in time, thinking its life was over, wondering what was its crime. I told her, just like that caterpillar, you believe your days are gone, but the miracle of life is evolving, and you will both find you are wrong. Your dark days seem ever plenty. You believe it is time to go. You're locked away like a prisoner, no more time for you to grow. But your dark days will soon be over. Soon the sunlight will start shining through, and that chrysalis will soon start stirring, and your fight will start growing too. The fight to live will not be easy. There is a very hard journey to make. But the fight will soon be worthwhile, and my strength is yours to take. Just like that caterpillar, your retreat will just be brief. This is just a stepping stone, your time to deal with your grief. This is your time to gather strength, your courage you'll need to gain. It is time to make your metamorphosis and free yourself from the pain. I told her, just like that chrysalis, numbered were her dark, lonely days. The light will soon block out the darkness. You will see this is all just a phase. I told her to fight for her place in the world, and to fight with all of her might, because soon you will be rewarded and will be met with a wondrous sight. This beautiful world in all its glory, and a dazzling light where once was black. I told her the world could be her oyster, but she must keep fighting to win this back. I helped her face her demons, helped her find her burning light. I led her through the darkness until she burned so bright. I reminded her of all the beauty, that freedom was just above, that we could find our sanctuary if we just filled our world with love. Together we gathered our strength, and to the past we said goodbye. And like a battalion of angels, we spread our wings like the butterfly. United, we stepped forward, left our dark days in the past. We linked arms as a family trio, and knew we had freedom at last. The three of us united, just Grandma, you, and me. We had sacrificed so much, but it had helped us all break free. If together we could break the cycle, if we could just take an axe to the family tree, if we cut away the blackened, withered branches, we could all be happy again, don't you agree? If the family tree was re-rooted, if we took it back right to the heart, if we sacrificed those darkened branches, it could give us a chance to restart. Let's sacrifice the dark ones, start the family tree all over again. If we obliterated those evil branches, and in the past we leave our pain, if with love the new roots were planted, with care and nurture we let it grow free, it could become our chance to start over and rewrite our family tree.
So now I'm going to read a poem also from Life Center called Today's Session, and it's by Anonymous. Today, after so many weeks, I finally had the courage to read a part of my life written out that makes my heart bleed, but I have to accept this is a part of me, which I guess is why I am in therapy. My counselor has helped me talk, a timeline drawn up so through my life we can walk. The order apparently didn't matter. The content did. Nothing, I would say, she would forbid. This understanding is hard to believe. This concept of self-care is hard to conceive. But the moment I knew I could explain things never told and how I feel such deep shame, no stigma, no hatred, no judgment call, I felt safe and was able to slowly tell all. But please tell me how I can ever forget that night, the violation of every human right the night my very soul was taken, leaving me a corpse badly shaken. 26 years on my soul and body reconnect. Oh, sorry. Oh my God. And my 26 years on my soul and body reconnect. But what do I believe? What should I reject? Who am I really? Am I 15 or 40? Emotionally, I need to fast track a catch up. Making progress. Will it ever be enough? Can I ever really be normal? I really like that one. Especially because I think that going to therapy and counseling has such a stigma still. And as someone who sees a therapist regularly, not because of assault, but just for like mental health reasons, like I can't advocate for it enough. It's really a fantastic thing, provided you can find a counselor who really works with you. Because there are lots of different styles, and I think different people prefer different styles. And sometimes getting to see a therapist, or even having the energy to find one, can be so hard. And that's important to talk about. It's not as easy as, oh, you should just go find a therapist, because it's never that easy. But I think that I have personally found it to be really, really worthwhile.
Therapy is a really wonderful way to start the practice of self-love. And so I'm going to lead you guys in the A to Z's of self-love. So A is acceptance. With acceptance, you set yourself free from bondage of self, and you are present and you embody love. Belief. By believing in yourself, the world is at your fingertips. You can do and accomplish anything you set your mind to. Compassion. By having a deeper compassion for others, you can tap into the infinite compassion for yourself. And this leads to a deeper sense of self-love. Darkness. From the pain, the turmoil, and the darkness comes the light. And so that light is where true beauty and hope lie. Energy. Putting forth your best and most authentic energy. By doing so, you attract similar people into your life, which leads to more self-love. Fun. Having fun is important. Embrace the balance of work and play and make time to let loose and have fun. Give. The more you give, the more love you receive. Give from a genuine place of love. And you know what they say about karma. Happiness. You are capable of happiness at any moment. Tap into the times that you have felt truly happy, and then you can cultivate your self-love and have this kind of like little like light in a bell jar to remind you when you're in dark times. Ignite. You have the ability to ignite the light and power within. Joke. So there's nothing like a good joke to add some relief into your life. Joke with yourself and others, never at anyone else's expense, but a fun joke, fun YouTube video is a good way to joke around. Kindness. By being your most authentic self, there is infinite kindness within, so just let the kindness come to the surface. L is for love, obviously. You are love. Self-love lies, obviously, in yourself and remembering that life is love. Money brings opportunity and not happiness. And remember this, so if you notice yourself focusing on money, go inside and remember that you are more valuable than any dollar amount. Nourish. You are a being inside a physical body. Remember to nourish the physical body and give it the love and kindness that you would give your best friend. Openness. Open yourself and your heart up to new interactions with other people or new experiences, and it'll really help. Purpose. Self-love means you are living your purpose, and your purpose is to give and receive love in whatever capacity that is. Question. So there are no stupid questions. be curious and be open and inquire about what is happening in your life. Reason and compromise are a part of life. Be open to new experiences and new perspectives, and this will open up your lens of life and foster more love. Simplicity. There are constant stimuli in life, and if you keep it simple, you will find your life more manageable, and you will find yourself more peaceful and serene. Try. Rejection doesn't mean that you give up. It means that you take it with a grain of salt and try again. So never give up, because you're worthy of anything that you set your mind to. Utilize. Utilize the resources available to you. Don't look at it as a sign of weakness. Using resources is pure strength. Vision. You don't need to have all the answers, but having a vision is important. So when you have like a clear vision of yourself, then it's a lot easier to practice self-love and acceptance. Wisdom. With wisdom comes understanding, knowledge, and insight. And so this comes from your experiences and your knowledge. XOXO is the X of self-love, which is an abbreviation for hugs and kisses, consensual hugs and kisses. Give them to yourself, and you don't need to be dependent on getting them from anyone, because you love yourself. Yes. Say yes to life. Say yes to opportunities that knock on your door. Say yes to opportunities that align to your purpose and vision. Say yes to loving yourself. This is different than, saying yes to something that you really don't want, which obviously anything that is not a yes is a no. And then the last one is Zen. So incorporate more Zen into your life. So meditation, sitting with yourself for 10 minutes, embracing just like the peacefulness of your mind. So those are the A to Z's of self-love.
I love that. I think that because we've talked a lot about self-care already, but can you ever really talk too much about self-care?
No, especially when especially like we said earlier, when you're dealing with a trauma, you never know when it's going to manifest. So having as many tools in your toolbox for self-love will make your life infinitely easier, because then you can tap into them at a moment's notice.
Definitely. And I think one thing that I really like to do is to do self-care even before I know that I really desperately need it. Mm-hmm. Even just sort of more casual self-care, you know what, I'm a little bit too stressed, I'm going to listen to some music and have a dance-off just by myself in my room. Just sort of de-stressing, and that way you can sort of figure out what methods of self-care work best for you ahead of when you actually really desperately need them. Because sometimes when you really need it, I know when I really need self-care, and there are these great master posts on Tumblr that you can find of fantastic ways of self-care, but sometimes when I really need it, I'll go to a master post and just be overwhelmed by all the choices that I have, mm-hmm. All the different ways that I can take care of myself. So I've found that having some maybe 3 to 5 go-tos, I know the chances of this helping me are going to be really great. Mm-hmm. That I found that to be really helpful.
Yeah. And we live in the world. We don't live in a bubble. So a lot of times there are lots of triggering things in the world, and so to have those in your arsenal is really great. And on that point, I'm going to go through some tips for survivors on navigating the world of media. Because media is obviously, it's a wonderful tool to increase public awareness about sexual violence, but it can be really triggering for quite a lot of survivors because of portrayals of sexual violence in movies, TV shows, news, and social media. And this can trigger a lot of different things, like in a lot of different spectrums, from flashbacks and anxiety to just feeling really sad and irritable and not really knowing how to fix that. So here are just some tips for navigating the world of media and making sure that you're taking care of yourself. So remember, when you're watching like a movie or a TV show, that you are in control. You never have to watch something to prove that you can handle it. If you go to a movie and find it upsetting, feel free to leave. Like, you can leave the theater. You know, if your favorite weekly television show includes a scene you find upsetting, it's okay to turn it off for 5 minutes. You don't have to watch anything that you don't want to. Me personally, I was a huge fan of Game of Thrones, and last season there were some very, well, Game of Thrones is always very shocking, but there were some incredibly shocking plot developments, and I just knew I had to take control and turn the episode off because it was very triggering. But that being said, pay attention to the warnings. So if you're concerned about a movie or a television show that might make you feel uncomfortable, read ahead. It's totally fine to spoil yourself. Read synopses like AV Club, different movie reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, and just different explanations of ratings. I know that MPAA is a little bit controversial, but they are very explicit in why they rate things the way that they do. So if you're concerned about a particular movie, then you can go onto their website and they'll say, like, oh, there's a scene where X happens, and this is why we rated it R as opposed to PG-13. So if you want to watch but are still nervous, like when I watch Game of Thrones, view it in a safe space like your home, instead of like in a big group or in a crowded theater. You know, something like The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, I knew I would never be able to watch it in the theater, so I waited until I could see it at home when I could pause it, step away, you know, take a snack break. And just remember that it's not the whole story. So oftentimes movies and TV shows leave out the most critical part, which is the healing process, because the drama of the survivor experience is apparently good for ratings, but it's not good for, you know, our healing process. And it can take a long time for a survivor to move forward, but that doesn't necessarily make for good content. So, of course, you know, writers and producers go for the shock value. So just remember, it's not the whole story, and also it's not real. For news, because the news can be exceptionally triggering, just remember that you are in control of what you see. You don't owe it to anyone to be familiar with news stories that you find triggering. If a particular piece is upsetting, angering, or otherwise makes you uncomfortable, you don't have to read it. And you know, in today's age, people are usually really good about putting a trigger warning before articles, and especially in terms of like photos and video, they are very good about saying this is a graphic image, you know, viewer discretion advised. And that being said, it's not just like straight up news. It's not just straight up facts, because like I was saying, when I was talking about movies and television, even news outlets have to work hard to attract readers, get ratings, and so the accounts that they tell might be graphic, sensationalized, or defending a perpetrator just for views and ratings. And people are going to react. So stories of sexual violence tend to prompt really strong reactions from the public, who either agree or disagree. You can see it in YouTube comments all across the website. It can be painful to read about people not believing a survivor's story or the difficulties of a particular investigation. So just remind yourself that these stories are not happening to you in this moment, and find comfort by talking to somebody that you trust. And just please don't read the comments. Really avoid reading the comments on news stories related to sexual violence, because they oftentimes turn into just like a demeaning, sexist, misogynistic, transphobic, really awful cesspool of disgustingness. Um, and then the last area that I'm going to talk about is social media. So social media is awesome. It lets people publish their opinions about, current events, personal thoughts, connect with family and friends, and, use the right way. It can be a really awesome healing experience for survivors. Like our Twitter and our Tumblr is a really great resource. But it also has the potential to cause some negative reactions. So just remember that, like I said, you're in control of your social media experience. So if you see something that makes you uncomfortable, you can exit a window at any time. When posting on social media sites, just look at the privacy and viewing settings to control what information you share with others and what information is visible to you. Use blacklists and whitelists. If you're concerned about receiving or seeing messages that may negatively impact you, feel free to only follow people or groups that you know would not post negative or graphic content. You don't have to be following someone just because they follow you or because you know them in real life if you know that they're going to be posting, graphic things. And sharing is a double-edged sword. So a lot of survivors share their stories online, either on Tumblr or Twitter, using hashtags, replying to Uplift posts, or reblogging. And so while we do the best to give survivors a voice and help them move forward, reading stories runs the risk of causing anxiety or being triggered. So keep in mind that you're not obligated to share your story publicly if you don't want to. That's a completely personal choice. Minors should be very cautious. Reporting laws vary from state to state, but in some cases, if a minor posts personally identifying information related to sexual abuse, the reader may have an obligation to report it just because it's a crime. So read up about the laws in your state if you're a minor and you want to share your story, just because we don't want to put you out of your comfort zone. And if you're sharing your story, and you just know that people will have to report it because it's a crime. And just remember that not everyone uses social media for good. There are millions of trolls out there and who may engage with survivors via bullying or like really annoying messages. They can belittle your character or expose details of your life that aren't meant to be shared, like doxing. So that way people use social media can leave survivors feeling uncomfortable and scared. So if you ever feel uncomfortable and scared, you can chat online at online.rain.org. Like we said earlier and in the description, RAIN is a really awesome way to chat with advocates if you need, to talk about your experience or some triggering events that have happened. Oh, we have people in the stream now.
Yeah, so surprise, we have some guests.
Yay.
Who have really graciously agreed to speak and share. I'm not sure who wants to go first. Neither of them are live, so I guess to the audience right now it's a total surprise.
We'll go with Olivia.
Cool. So Olivia, you're muted right now. But hi. So Olivia Dolphin, just for those of you who don't know her, she is preferred pronouns. Let's get that out of the way. What
Yes.
for gender pronouns?
Female pronouns. Also, I just want everybody to know that I have this little cutie on my
That's what we needed for the self-care buffer. We needed animals. We needed two
Yes.
fluffy animals.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It's the best cat I've ever met. Anyways.
Oh my god, she sounds adorable. So, okay, I'm going to introduce. So you said she, her pronouns?
Yes, please.
Okay, great. So, Olivia Dolphin is a dolphin, writer, blogger, oversharer, fanfic writer, and resume editor. She is the senior volunteer coordinator for the Mischief Management events, GeekyCon and LeakyCon, which I'm sure all of us are familiar with because GeekyCon and LeakyCon. Recently, she founded and successfully kickstarted something called Wizards in Space Literary Magazine, which is a space for wizard writers, and it's aimed at providing a place for original work in spaces that already have platforms for fan works. And Olivia, if you want to share your social media links, sort of maybe any links to that magazine, which sounds hella cool.
Yeah,
Let us know.
You can send submissions to wizardsinspacemag@gmail.com. And we're going to get a website up and running and everything like that. But so yeah, we really aim to create a space for original works. I think that we've come so far in appreciating and loving and really caring for the tradition of fan works. And now I really want to, as a writer that does a lot more original work than fan works, although I do have I do write a lot of Jurassic World fan fiction. Yeah, so I really want to make a space in our community for more original work, so people that want to tell their stories in a manner that is appropriate and helpful and healing, they can do that if they want to. So I'm super excited that the community was so open to kickstarting it, and we're hoping to have it published by July, and the submission deadline is in May, mid-May, May 18th, I think, off the top of my head. My cat just left. So yeah, we're super excited.
That sounds awesome. You're doing really cool work.
I mean, I couldn't have done it without the support of the community, and I'm very, very appreciative and aware and so thankful. And just being surrounded by the creative energy that I'm so blessed to be surrounded by is just, it's been a really amazing ride so far. So,
awesome. That's super cool. So speaking of original work, you have a poem to share?
Yeah, it's a spoken word thing. I gotta pull it up really quick. It's called Seven Potters, and I want everybody to know going into this that it is about a creator and fan dynamic. So if that's difficult for you, you should prepare yourself, or obviously you can remove yourself or mute me or whatever you have to do to be comfortable. It's not graphic in any way. It just does deal with what our community, specifically the Harry Potter community, went through with creators being outed as abusers. So everybody should be aware of that. And then this is a personal story, so I can just read it down. All right. So this is called Seven Potters. I was 7 days from 17 when we first met. Your age didn't seem to matter, like a stained green marker whiteboard math class lesson. Numbers faded, yet there, erased, yet permanent, distracting, yet ignored, seen, yet unseen. At my first convention, I was told, don't become a fandom slut. Don't be like those other girls. I was 7 days from 17. Every time you looked at me, I felt better. Not better in the way where it made me happier or settled my stomach or soothed whatever part of me needed soothing. When you looked at me, it made me feel better than everyone else in the room. When you walked by me at shows and touched my hip as you went by, I soaked in the jealous glare of every single person that noticed. I felt better. That changed, somewhere, some year, some con. Don't you have a girlfriend? I texted you one night after you failed to lure me into your hotel room. I sat on the elevator floor and I rode to each and every floor. The doors opened and closed and I was too tired to move, yet too stubborn to give up on the night. So the elevator started again at the bottom, and I stared at my friends as your answers rolled in. It took 5 floors before I realized how good you were at manipulation. And it took 9 floors before I realized how good you were at denial. You told me I misunderstood, that I was wrong. How dare I? You set your guitar on fire during your set that night, and I whispered, set yourself on fire next time. I had no idea you were already burning. It was silence after that. I had been let go, forgotten, spared. But I thought we were friends, and I thought our conversations meant something to you, and I thought this was going to go somewhere, and I thought this community mattered to you, and I thought I mattered to you. It was 2010. I was 20 years old. You placed your hands on each of my shoulders and displaced me from your path. I don't have time for you right now, you said. Later that night, your chords played into the crowd, and I thought, I want everyone to know what you're really like. Yet, there were people in the same crowd who did know, who knew worse than me. But silence was the way then, and being popular was the way then, and letting him be loved and liked in return for our compliance was the way then. Our community skated on surface-level positivity because surely it was better than breaking the ice. So years later, I sat on that rooftop in London, and you called me your friend. It was the first time you spoke to me in 6 years, and I laughed. We're not friends, I said. You were finally seeing what I could have been all along, that the 16-year-old girl you gave a back rub to in a Toronto hotel room turned into a writer, a leader, a speaker, a musician, that she turned into all the things that you called yourself, that I had figured out how to harness the power that you betrayed, that the people you hurt the most learned to harness the power of love and friendship and honesty and humble creativity. The worst thing is, what you did to me wasn't even the worst you had in store. But now, together, even if you disguised yourself within 7 potters, we would know who the imposter was. You can't don the lightning bolt scar and call yourself a hero, call yourself a marauder, or try and claim that you're a martyr. Not anymore. We won't let you. Time's up. Your polyjuice potions run out. Thank you.
Internet snaps.
Yeah.
Internet snaps.
I was clapping and I realized that I was so nervous. That was so amazing. That was
Thank you.
so wonderful. And if you guys would like to listen to that piece again, I believe, Olivia, you have a recorded version of that on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, there's a YouTube video of when I performed it. So I've only performed it twice, and I performed it, and I tend to only read it. It's never been posted anywhere. So it's on my YouTube channel in conjunction with a performance I did with Claudia Morales, who is the social media director, whatever her wonderful title is over at the Harry Potter Alliance. So you can check that out for sure.
Yes. So that was so wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think it's a really important piece about the fan-creator dynamic and the events that unfolded in our community. Let's see. Olivia, thank you so much.
No worries, guys. I'm going to go enjoy the wonderful New York City. So I'm so happy to make this work. And thank you so much for having me on. And please share my social media. So if anybody wants to get in touch with me, you know, my inbox is always open to talk or to talk writing or Wizards in Space or whatever. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Have a wonderful
Have a great day.
Bye. All right, so our next guest is going to be Cheryl, correct?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hi, Cheryl.
We should just roll with it because Tori.
Cool. Cheryl, you're muted.
Uh-oh.
Let's see.
Oh.
No, can't hear you.
Oh, no. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. We can see you. So that's something.
Maybe, Cheryl, if you try refreshing your browser, we can have Rhiannon go, and then, yeah. So Guys, please stand by. Cheryl is gonna re-enter the chat. But in the meantime, let's hear from Rhiannon. Oh, who is muted?
Perpetual, again, first time ever doing this.
Yes.
Technological problems. Yeah, you're muted, Rhiannon. You look beautiful, but you're muted.
Okay. Is it on
Yes.
now?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome.
Yay, welcome.
Hi. So
Hi.
I'm Rhiannon McGavin. I'm a writer from Los Angeles. Wait, I sent you guys. Wait, do you
Yeah.
have a bio?
I mean, you can introduce yourself if you want, or I can do the very official, this is Rhiannon, she's awesome.
Oh, Rhiannon, what are your pronouns?
I am a girl, so it's going to be she, her, hers.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm an English major. I know. Correct.
Cool. I'll do that. I'll give you the official VIP treatment that Olivia got to. So I'll read your bio that you sent in. So, in case everyone doesn't know the amazingness that is Rhiannon McGavin, she is a young writer from Los Angeles who, according to the bio she sent in, first started drafting poems to attract the attention of a cute boy in her children's Shakespeare group, which I think is a story that probably resonates with a lot of people. I think that's true of a lot. While she never won his attention, she has performed original poetry on Grace Cavalier's Poet and the Poem podcast, NPR, and at venues from the Troubadour to the Lincoln Center. In her free time, she enjoys yelling about skincare and books on her YouTube channel, which is The Geeky Blonde. And I think we're going to try and link to that in our social media stuff because she does great work. We've already talked about like self-care a lot, and like Rhiannon does amazing videos on self-care routines and like just everyday ways to take care of yourself.
Thank you. I'm so excited for it to be May because like literally every single day of April, because it's like Sexual Assault Awareness Month and World Poetry Month, I've just been like doing things for 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
And in May, I'm just going to talk about conditioner and face masks. I think it's going to be so nice.
Yes.
But, so, yeah, Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Denim Day is on next Wednesday. And, okay, my computer's lagging a lot, but so tell me that, like, you're understanding everything.
We're getting everything.
But, okay, cool. So Denim Day is on the 27th of April. I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff with Peace Over Violence, which is the largest crisis center organization in Los Angeles, and I'm going to be bringing down some more materials to VidCon this year for the Uplift booth, like I did last year. It's very fun, and yeah, they had me write a couple poems for Denim Day, and I have two. If we have time for that. So the story of Denim Day, I have a video about it. Basically, it's like this horrific sexual assault case that came out of Italy in the 90s, and it's the one where the Supreme Court of Italy decided that like because the girl was wearing tight jeans, it had to be consensual sex because she would have had to like help take the jeans off, which is like so okay. Sure.
Yeah.
That's logical.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, you went to law school. That's amazing that you came up with that. So to show support and solidarity, everyone wears denim and jeans on Denim Day. And I feel like so much within like all of the communities, Harry Potter and YouTube and all of that, and like just from my own life, what helps me so much is just having like a group of girls that I can talk to and that like can talk to me, because so many terrible things happen to teenage girls when we feel isolated and when we feel alone, and that's when we are at our most, that's when people in general are at their most vulnerable, when they feel isolated and that like no one is seeing them. So this is my piece, Things That Could Happen to a Girl Wearing Jeans, which is about my group of friends and how much I love them. Okay. Ari wears her jeans with the cuffs rolled up, like in a French film at the midnight cinema, where we sneak malt milkshakes. She's in a punk band, and all the holes in her clothes are girl-made. I wear my jean jacket to her shows, with pins older than me, from my mother's days of denim. In the 70s, they wore flared pants and learned to stoke the fires in their stomachs, how to burn so bright they could walk home safe past sunset, holding hands, linking flames. I like the way fabric bears history, with ultramarine cresting to frayed white. We are still paint chips and copper chloride in every shade of blue. Vigilante charms in my house, watching us from the doorframe, echoed by the blue eyeshadow I streak to feel brave, the forget-me-nots on my street corner at 6:40 in the morning. Julie writes notes on her pants so she doesn't forget the exact shade of dawn from her rooftop the day after it rains. This way, when she's alone on the subway, she can look at her legs and feel Genesis, while flour and powdered sugar cover Nina's jean skirt, skipping past her apron. She always smells like vanilla and cinnamon. Once, me and Eva waited 3 hours at Nina's apartment for her to come back and make us grilled cheese, our mouths stained with popsicles and a natural bliss of corn syrup and artificial raspberries. Eva walks with square shoulders, one hand in her pocket, holding a guitar pick like an amulet, and we are all each other's patches. And there is nothing so good as getting your hair brushed and braided by someone who loves you. Julie shares lipstick with Ari, who dyed Eva's hair purple. Eva does my liner. I smudge Nina's mascara, and she sprays rose water on Julie. We split perfume and popcorn every Friday night, and I like my body best when I am dancing with my friends, and someone spills their milkshake on me. And whipped cream joins the nail polish, hot sauce, candle wax, those darling smears I accumulate from living. I carry my heart like a pincushion because I know that if I dance long enough, these will not be the pants I wore the night all my pretty words were not enough, when the decades choked, my hands cold as Supreme Court marble. No, these are the jeans that I hiked 10 miles in to pick wildflowers. Thank you. Is that on? Did it work?
Yes, it worked.
It was so good.
That was so good. That was awesome.
Thanks.
I love it. You said you have another one for us as well?
Yeah, I do. So, what we do a lot with Peace Over Violence, and it really sucks that like a women's organization has to focus so much on this, but we do a lot of outreach with men and like rehabilitation. So one of our projects is like the Engaging Men project, and like this is something that I think about constantly. Charger! I gotta get my charger. Oh god.
I just want to say, while Rhiannon is scrambling, that like I think it is so amazing and cool and beautiful to talk about the power of female friendships, because girls are strong as hell, and
females are strong as hell.
And I think that like I am so all for art that supports and validates young girls and friendships. And like support networks, because like society has done enough of trivializing women in general, and especially small, like younger girls, and like screw that.
Yeah.
I think female friendships can be so like redemptive and healing and nourishing.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Are you good? Oh. I don't know. She's right. She's back.
Yay!
Okay, cool. What was I talking about? Okay, engaging men. So,
Yes.
something I think about constantly is like, I think we all get very tired of dealing with boys sometimes, but we have to. Sorry, I have to close my door. Okay, so how to educate boys and men without like emotionally straining ourselves and like wanting to die constantly? Because like I'm always like, okay, yes, let's do it. We're gonna work from healing and a place of love and kindness, and then I like look at a news headline and I'm like, no, all of you have to be shot into the sun. Like, it's over. So yeah, just figuring out how to engage boys in a healthy way for all of us. So this is my piece about taking care of my younger cousin, whose name is Optimus, because stupid names just run in my family. I teach my cousin magic tricks in the spring. It's splendid how water, sunlight, and carbon dioxide can melt into leaves. He is 4. I cup his hands around the shovel's handle to dig a hole just deep enough, the way the bed in our spare room is too small for his bad dreams. Then we put seeds in the dirt. Then we cover the seeds with a baby blanket of earth and pat it down, gentle, gentle, and water the whole garden when we're done, the hose loud as a fairy tale. We wash our feet in the kitchen sink, next to a pot of clover that revives itself every year. He doesn't think the tomato sprouts could ever be big enough to spread through their wire frames. I tell him, growing up is about patience. He eats green strawberries, too excited to wait for them in the summer. In the summer, he rides on the handlebars of my bike, wearing my helmet while my hair goes loose. We share sunburns and popsicles at the Pan Pacific pool. The tips of our ears are cherry ice cream pink. He tries to splash up towards the deep end, but his toes barely reach the bottom of the shallow side. His wet hair shines like salmon scales. Back home, he watches me slice aloe vera with my little blue knife. This is how we make our healing. I teach my cousin how to eat the wild oxylilies, gather bunches of stem, crunch them with your canines, slurp the sour juice, then spit out the pulp. I do not want his baby teeth to sharpen. By fall, he can read the words on his kindergarten assignments to me. Skull, rib, spine. He spends 2 hours with child-safe scissors, cutting body parts out of paper. They hang on the window. My cousin stares at their shadow on the floor, and he pokes his chest to find his lungs. I do not ever want his bones to harden. I tell him that the strongest muscle is in his jaw, but it can only be exercised when he speaks up for someone else. We have spaghetti with homemade sauce, with fresh tomatoes, and he brings me handfuls of basil leaves. I unwind the nasturtium vines from around each other, so the whole garden has space to sleep. It's winter. I pale with the fog. My cousin sleeps under a white feather comforter. He doesn't know why I cry so much, why I cross and uncross my legs, why we always hold hands on the bus, because I do not tell him about the weeds, crabgrass and thistle that I had to tear out before he came here, because I will not let him breathe that air, a sickly secondhand dust of pollen and ash. It's hard to raise boys in the city, to keep the billboards and alleyways from growing them crooked. When we walked to the store for pasta, a grown man screamed at me, dragging the mucus out from his throat, and I can only guess that he's never felt comfortable being smaller than the youngest redwood in the forest. He pounded his fists against a brick wall until they were too proud to lift someone else up, and none of us are born knowing how to hold children. But it's spring, and my baby cousin is planting daffodils. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. That was so amazing. That was so wonderful. Rhiannon, if people would like to read more of your poetry, where would you suggest they find it?
Well, this is actually quite exciting. So it's Shakespeare's 452nd birthday, and because I'm a sentimental, superstitious little chicken, my Etsy shop is launching today.
Yeah.
What? So if you
Wow.
go to Etsy.com/Rhiannon McGavin, because my name is so easy to spell. Yeah, it's just the Etsy shop is my name, and that's where you can get my little. Hold on, I have some homemade booklets. They look like this, but a lot nicer.
I love that.
I have
so
one.
pretty.
I can see it
Yeah.
right now. Yay.
Well, your poems are always so beautiful, Rhiannon. Like,
Thank
seriously.
you.
And not just, like, beautiful, but always relevant and
Mhm.
poignant, and just, like, really cool. Just super cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This is I'm really glad that I was able to read.
Yes,
Oh,
we're
man.
so glad that we're so glad that you came. We're so glad that you were able to make it.
Yeah, you rock.
Okay, I have to go fulfill a bunch of deadlines, but it was wonderful talking to you guys, and I can't wait to see like what the rest of the week is like. Yay!
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye.
All right. Now let's check on Cheryl. Let's see if Cheryl will if Cheryl's sound will work.
Let's see.
Hey. Yes.
Yes.
What up?
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, it is working.
Yay!
Hey.
Oh, what a relief.
Yeah. We're so excited to have you. We're so
Hey,
excited.
Jennifer.
Welcome to the party.
Thanks.
I'm
I
sorry
hear
that you had to
guys-
like wait around for so long, but glad
No,
it worked out.
Fine.
Okay, awesome. So I will do the official VIP bio reading that you
Woohoo.
sent in. So let's see, Cheryl. Also, first, Cheryl, what are your preferred gender pronouns before we move forward?
She.
She, her, and hers. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And how do you pronounce your last name? Because
Hinterleitner.
Hinterleitner. Okay, I didn't want to butcher it. Okay, so Cheryl Hinterleitner. Cheryl is a blogger, and her blog can be found at cherylmarketingnetwork.com. She also does work with nonprofits and has been working with nonprofits with a focus on domestic violence for the last 3 years, which is super cool, and we're really glad to have you.
I'm super glad to be here. I'm super glad you guys were like, hey, let's maybe include people outside the organization, which I think is really great.
Yeah, we definitely wanted to have open invitations for anyone who wanted to participate, really.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So we're glad that you were willing to come on and share and speak and hang out.
Absolutely. So, this is my boyfriend, Roger.
Hello.
Hi, Roger.
Hi.
So I've been doing other things today, so I don't really know what you guys have been getting today and
Mhm.
hearing. Go ahead.
Oh, we have been doing a lot of poetry, survivor stories, and just statistics. So anything that you would like to contribute will be welcome because we've done lots of different stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Totally understand. So I guess I'll tell my story, my experience with, thank you, baby, with, you can't see, but he just grabbed my hand.
Oh.
He's very supportive. He's great. I guess I'll tell my survivor story. So was October 19th of 2009. And a bunch of us were just, I was in college, I was a freshman down at Longwood University here in Virginia, and a bunch of us were just hanging out at this guy, Pop's house. We called him Pops. His name was Siobhan or something. I don't remember. That's not important anyway. So we were making food, making dinner, we ordered food, then we were making popcorn and just having a good time. And I was not comfortable at his house because he started the evening by telling everyone, okay, if y'all fall asleep, I'm going to do whatever I do to you. So I was trying to get one of my friends to walk me back to campus. Tried really hard, and they were like, no, Cheryl, just chill out. Just hang out for a while. It's fine. He's not going to do anything. He just says that. And so I was like, I'll hang out. We had some wine. We made popcorn, and while I was over at the stove making the popcorn because we were making it on the stove in a pot, old-fashioned. Pops came over, and next thing I know, his hand is down my pants, touching me, and that made I told him, I said, stop, I'm not comfortable at all. Stop, you need to stop right now. But he didn't. I feel lucky in the fact that that's all that happened, and that that it was just an assault and not rape. I feel very lucky in that fact. Now he's up in, last I heard anything about him, he was in New York. So, doing acting. So that's my story.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Cheryl, for sharing. It was it's really hard to share stories sometimes, but it's really important, and your story is valid. And so sorry that you went through that experience, but hopefully through community you have been able to begin the process of healing.
Absolutely. The community has been absolutely fantastic in helping me with healing and all of that, and this guy is really
Yeah. It's really important when that partners are very supportive of each other.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So we're actually celebrating an anniversary today.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, happy anniversary!
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for sharing your anniversary with
Yeah,
us. My
yes.
goodness.
Absolutely, this is important. This is important. So, we're gonna go out for lunch.
Awesome, awesome.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Cheryl, if people would like to follow you on Twitter or other
Oh, yeah,
social
yeah.
media, where can they find you?
So my Twitter handle is that one bald chick.
Love it. Love
number
it.
one. Number one. My Tumblr is that one bald chick, one spelled out.
Mm-hmm.
And my inbox is always open. My email address, it's the easiest one, is probably thatonebaldchick@gmail.com. I have a YouTube channel that I'm going to start doing some more things with soon.
Awesome, awesome.
We have plans for that. And I am actually a published novelist.
What?
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, and all of the links, my blog is undergoing, I'm switching blogging sites.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it'll still be the same URL. I'll just reset the redirect for that URL.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the links for everything will be on that. Thank you. Will be on probably the About Me page. But also you could visit camarlet.com. That's my author website. And that's got, all my contact information and where you can get the book. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll be sure to check that out. Thank you so much for coming on, Cheryl, and sharing your story. And have a wonderful anniversary.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, thanks. We're going to go to Outback and have some steak.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.
guys.
Awesome.
Awesome.
That was really cool.
That was a really really powerful story.
Yeah.
I think that Cheryl was our last guest, so thank you guys so much for sticking with us for the whole 4 hours. We are so excited to start this tradition in our community because it's really important that we all stand empowered together. One thing before we close out is I wanted us to go over the Safer Community Pledge. which, oh my gosh, I don't think I have up right now. Ah,
But for those who are unfamiliar, Uplift sort of launched the Safer Community Pledge about like a year ago.
yes.
I think they debuted it at around VidCon
Yes.
time. And it's really cool, and a lot of different people have participated who run the gamut of like fan all the way up to like hundreds of thousands of millions of subscribers. So there's been a really cool response to it.
Yes, and so I just wanted to read this for you all, and so that I've taken the pledge. I know our Uplift staff has taken the pledge, so hopefully you will take the pledge with us. So, I pledge that I will always prioritize consent. I understand that consent is the presence of an enthusiastic yes rather than the absence of a no, and that consent cannot be given when someone is asleep or physically or mentally incapacitated. I pledge that I will respect my partner's wishes and that I will not pressure or coerce them into doing anything that makes them uncomfortable. I pledge to stand with survivors of sexual abuse or harassment by showing them compassion and respect. I pledge to never blame the victim for any abuse they've experienced. Sexual violence is never the victim's fault. I pledge to admit when I make mistakes and to apologize for my actions. When someone tells me that I've said something sexist, victim-blaming, or otherwise offensive, I pledge to be open to their words. I pledge to support conversations surrounding sexual abuse and harassment in a way that is respectful of my needs and the needs of those I am speaking with. I pledge to create safer communities both online and off. And so that is the pledge. We encourage all of you guys to take it and let us know why you did so. You can hashtag Safer Community Pledge and also hashtag Uplift Out Loud and tweet at us at Uplift Together. Thank you guys so much for coming to this event. We're so excited to make this an annual event. Tori, do you have any closing words that you'd like to say?
I guess for me, I think the reason why we as an organization are so excited about starting this tradition is that I think maintaining conversation about a topic as heavy as this one can be hard to do.
Yes.
But it's also really important and necessary work because what will usually happen is that something especially horrible will come to light, as it recently did with a certain person, and conversation will reignite around that topic. And that is definitely very important, very necessary dialogue to have. At the same time, we also really want to be conscious about maintaining a certain level of discussion just consistently.
Yes.
And we want to create continuity across time because the unfortunate reality is that this is not going to go away. This problem is going to keep on existing. But what we hope to do is sort of remain consistent and constant in our message of we are here, we believe you, we support you, we are here if you need anything. And so that's really what we hope to do as an organization and what we hope to do with this event that we hope to do again and again and again.
Yes, and thank you guys so much. Keep continuing the conversation, whether it's be it Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube. You know where to find us at Uplift Together. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful rest of your Saturday, and yeah, thanks.